Yeah, please feel free to stop me throughout and just make sure. Oh, there we go. If you've got any questions in between or anything like that, please feel free to stop me and ask questions. I'm happy to stop, and that it's not a monologue. It's really here for you to get an understanding of the LeanIn Circles. And I really appreciate you all putting up your hand and saying, yes, you're interested, because the more of us that get involved, the more impact we create. So LeanIn Circles is not a business engagement product. It is a product that was developed by, as you all know, Sheryl Sandberg, and she was the chief operations officer of Facebook. And she wrote her book, LeanIn. And after that, she had so many people approaching her and asking her to mentor them, and she couldn't physically get to all of those people. And so with Stanford University, she has developed these LeanIn Circles. The LeanIn Circles is not a set formal certain time in a work environment. It really is for women to get together in groups of I normally say 8 to 10 women. It is for women. And men have taken some of the topics and have run with some of them, but it's predominantly, when you start going through the topics, you will see that it's predominantly for women. Unless you're doing the allyship program that LeanIn has created. And so essentially it is for 8 to 12 maximum. I recommend between 8 to 10 people. This program is being run in about 186 countries worldwide, and we've currently, in fact, that was updated yesterday. We were told that we now have 138,000 circles happening internationally. So it is an international something that's happening internationally, and depending on how you decide to get involved with LeanIn, you would either look to get involved locally, or there are certain circles you can connect with internationally that have open circles. It is, for us, it is more important that you do meet face to face and not online. You will see as I go through, there are some non-negotiables, and online, it makes it very, very difficult to manage those things. But essentially, you've got a difference between two of the initiatives that LeanIn offers. First of all, you get the educational meetings. Sorry, can somebody let whoever's in? Are you able to let that person in?
Yes, I'll just let them in.
Awesome, fantastic, because I can't see while I'm actually sharing my screen. So essentially, the first lot of meetings is your educational meetings, and I will take you through what that means. But essentially, that is where you watch the videos. It's got the facilitation sheets, so it is a set structure to those meetings. The other meetings, though, is sometimes you'll want to come together as your group and not go through a video, not go through any facilitation sheets. You've had a rough week, and all you ladies want to do is come together, connect, share what's working, share what isn't working, and really share personal stories. So it's totally up to you when you start going through the program, how fast you want to go through. When I take you through the content and the material that is available, you'll see there's about 140 topics. You are not expected to go through 140 topics in a year. You will probably go through 3, maximum 5 topics in a year as you intersperse the educational meetings with the connection meetings. Any questions before I go on in terms of that?
Nope, all good.
No? Okay. All right. So as I said to you, there's about 140 topics. I'm not going to take you through all the topics, but essentially once I share the link with you, you can go online, There's anything from leadership development to networking, to your personal presence, to work-life balance, although they still call it work-life balance. I don't believe anyone can balance work and life. I call it work-life integration, but they still call it work-life balance on the platform. It's mentorship. It is any topic you can think of, branding, any topic that you can think of with regards to women leadership development, they've got that topic. So it just shows you it's a wide range of topics, and I will show you how you choose what topics you're going to work with. You will find when you speak to people about LeanIn Circles, you will find two schools of thought. One group will tell you they work absolutely fantastically well. Another group will tell you hasn't worked. We went for one session and it hasn't worked. The reason why some groups do not work is they do not follow the process. The LeanIn Circles have been developed scientifically. If you get into a group where they turn around and say to you, you know what, our group, I've decided as the leader or facilitator of the group that we are going to do these top 5 topics because everybody struggles with these top 5 topics. That is not the way you do it. Each group can be going through totally different topics based on what the group wants to learn and grow through. So if you are a mother with 4 kids and you have been through your career, you've been through 20 years of your career, you may have totally different objectives to a young lady that has just come out of varsity and wanting to grow her career and starting from there. So the groups will go through totally different topics, and I will teach you how to go through those. There are 3 non-negotiables in LeanIn Circles. Number 1 is confidentiality. Number 2 is communication. And number 3 is commitment. First of all, you will find that when you start off with your LeanIn Circles, that people I'm assuming that, or because you're all from Women Property Network, that you kind of know each other and you've met with each other. There may be a few that don't, but I'm assuming that you perhaps know each other. In the groups, you may not know the people that you get involved with depending on where you live or where you work, because depending on what you choose, you might turn around and say, I want to join a group in Cape Town. I don't want to join with friends. I want to go into a totally new group. And based on where I stay, I want to go for that particular group. So you are going to get into a scenario where there will be people in that group you're meeting for the first time. You will find when you start off with your groups that the people within the groups may be a little bit hesitant to talk, and that is okay. They might also start the conversation very shallow. They might not open up. They might feel, oh, if I open up, everybody's going to know what I haven't succeeded in, where I've made my mistakes, and all of those things. As you go on in terms of the relationship building, you will find that those barriers break down. And what we have found in the groups is that often people will tell women in those groups something they haven't told somebody else outside of the groups. And so this thing is to really have a safe space and keep whatever's said in that group confidential. Having said that, and my next slide will deal with it. Having said that, we aren't counselors, and we aren't there to sell our jobs. Let me actually just go to that. I'll bring you back to that. So if you get into your circle and you feel that somebody needs more professional help, okay, you must turn around and say to that person, I recommend you go and seek help. We have had it in not our circles, thank goodness, but in one of the other circles internationally, where the one group, one of the ladies chose to pose as a counselor in the group, and it created absolute havoc. So you will find within your groups that there is a set structure. And even when you start doing what we call the connection cards, which I will speak to shortly, the idea is to keep it to the LeanIn format and keep it to the conversation at hand, not to digress, not to recommend psychiatrists, not to recommend doctors, nothing of that nature, not to recommend anything about spiritual, whatever. It's not the place. Okay, it's not the place and time. The confidentiality will remain as part of the conversation. The communication is you will only learn as much as you're prepared to open up, communicate, share, and for others within the group. As I said, the group will start off with not communicating, but that's okay. It will get there. And then the third thing is, if you're going to commit to a group, commit to it. You will see the group will decide when you're going to meet, how you're going to meet, where you're going to meet. Block it out in your diary unless all the walls are falling down. So really commit to it, because that's how within the year you'll actually see that the growth happens. Any questions before we move on? Okay. So just from the connection activity, I just want to get a sense from everybody on the call. It's not everybody that has to, but if you feel like you want to answer, if you joined a circle, when you look back a year from now, what is it that you would have wanted the circle to help you with or to guide you? Is there anything in your life that you wish you could change that you're hoping that the circle will help you with? Any one of those questions. Are there any of you on the line that will answer any one of those questions?
I hope you can hear me.
I can, Charmaine, yeah.
I think for me, I'm just looking for a sense of community within the property space. I think a lot of women can agree here that it is very male dominated in a lot of the spaces that we operate in. So I think just finding community in that sense, and yeah, just some further connections and just networking as well. But ideally, yeah, just finding a community of like-minded women in the space.
Awesome. Thanks, Charmaine. Anybody else want to comment?
I think I share the same sentiment as Charmaine. And also because I was from the insurance background and they have a very strong community. And also, career growth, as a mom who has a young adult and a teenage. So I'm just looking for things that I can do going forward, because when your kids grow, you kind of like have this not much space, but there is a gap where what can I do, with the time that I have, how can I improve myself and where to from here.
Awesome, Serafina. Anybody else?
Afternoon, ladies. I echo both Charmaine and Serafina on that sense of community. Myself, I work for myself from home, so I feel pretty isolated. So yes, looking for that sense of community and the reinforcement and the encouragement that comes with that. I think when you're on your own, you start to question yourself. Am I still worth what I'm giving, and just to engage with other ladies and get that sense of community. Thank you.
Awesome, Alison. Anybody else?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hi, Masvita. Yes, we can.
I mean, I think the sentiment is the exact same as the three ladies that have spoken. But I think for me personally, it's within networking, not just within the property space, because there's a WPN. But as I understand it, the LeanIn Circles, it's ladies from different spheres and different industries and different, it's not just property specific. So it's also getting a community and, that, increasing your networking in different industry and industry spaces to get to know more leaders who are like-minded as well.
Yes, so Masvita, we are able to offer both. So if those who want to specifically network in the property sector, we're able to bring together a group there, but also we've walked a long road with Women Property Network as Business Engage. And if you go onto the Business Engage website, you'll see we do a lot as well. And so there's always opportunity. So whatever you want to achieve and that type of thing, you're more than welcome to also participate with what we are doing and to get connected. It's totally up to you how you want to run with the LeanIn Circles. I'm open to both, and I'll happily, if a group from Women Property Network decides that you want to get together as a group in Women Property Network, you must just let me know, and I'll gladly come and facilitate your first session and make sure that you get started correctly. Okay. Any other responses? Okay. All right, well, let's move on then. Okay, so your first circle meeting that you will host is, I mentioned the connection cards. And this is where your confidentiality, your commitment, and your communication becomes so vitally important. The connection cards have been developed to gel the group together. You will find that, as I said, there are certain groups that have not done the connection cards where somebody turns around and says, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to follow the process. I'm just going to start with the 5 or 6 topics and that's it. I'm not going to do this. If you don't do the connection cards, that group will not stay together. It's the most amazing thing. You will start off the connection cards and you'll find that very shallow conversation, but by the time you've finished the session, and we do recommend you spend at least 2 hours, at least once a month, getting together in your LeanIn Circles. By the time you've done your first session, which is only the connection cards, that group will stay together. You will start finding out things about those people that you never knew and that a lot of people don't know. So with the connection cards, absolutely you got to start. If you join a group and 2 or 3 people aren't there for the connection cards, don't allow other people to come in after you've done the connection cards, because it will just disrupt the process. If you are going to do that, then do the connection cards again, because the 2 or 3 would not have actually been able to find the depth in the conversation. So we recommend that once you've done the connection cards, you don't allow other people to come into that safe space. So the connection cards, the way it works, it's a deck of cards, and the first person will draw the card from the deck and answer it. The second person either answers the same question or draws another card. You've got what they call, just before I go on to that, some of the questions are very easy to answer. What are you most proud of? If you're a mother with kids, most probably your kids will feature somewhere in that. But then it asks you the tough questions of what do you most regret? And sometimes those questions have been developed for you to deal with something that you may have pushed so far down and you haven't dealt with it, which is coming up when you're growing your career. And it's something you've got to deal with. So scientifically, the questions have been developed to give you a little bit of comfort in some, to challenge you in some, but to allow you to go deeper in others. And so when you start off, the more difficult questions, you will find some people won't answer them, but as you go round and round and round, they will come back and they will answer those. And eventually you'll be able to get that depth of conversation that you need for something to really spark those groups. You've got what they call connection cards. And this is where I said I would bring you back to this. You've got you've got check-in cards, not connection cards, check-in cards. If somebody says something and you see it really strikes a chord and they need to deal with something, you can present what they call a check-in card. But you may only do it a maximum of twice within the connection cards. It's not for counseling. It's not a therapy session, as I said. It's not to solicit business. It's not to sell products. It's not to promote services. We had a circle about 3 weeks ago that we actually had to restart because there was one particular lady that was trying to sell her business, and every single time she would take you back to her journey and what's gone wrong, and somebody would say something and she would bring it back and say, well, I've experienced the same thing. That is not the purpose of the connection cards. The connection cards are there for you to develop that depth, and everybody has a chance to put in their answers and to start finding themselves within that those connection cards. And once again, we bring it back to the confidentiality and the respect. Some people will have different ideas to you, and that's fine. That's fine. It's how do you actually, as a group, just support each other. Any questions with regards to that? Okay. So as I said, the check-ins, a maximum of twice per round. Don't overemphasize the check-in. You'll actually stay on one person and keep on coming back all the time. So it's at least a maximum of 2 check-ins per round and 2 minutes or less. So don't dwell on it. So what will your circle cover? So essentially the way, as I said to you, each group can be going through totally different topics depending on the group. So your first session is only the connection cards. You will then, at the end of that session, you will decide when you're going to meet, how you're going to meet, where you're going to meet, and etc. At that next meeting, what will then happen is that each one of you writes down your top 3 goals. You take 5 minutes individually to write down your top 3 goals. Once you've done that, you go around the circle and you select the top 3 goals from the group, the goal that most people have actually identified that they want to work on. How it works, I don't know. Maybe it's just, how things work. But mostly you will find within the groups that those topics will be very, very similar. You then identify the top 3 goals and you write them down. You send it out to the individuals, get their buy-in. That's what you're going to work on for the next 6 months. And that's how you start your circle. So as I said, each circle can be going through totally different topics. You don't need to marry up what others are doing. Once you've identified that, this is the link that you go online and you find your 140 topics. So if negotiation is one of the things that you're going to work on, you would click negotiation at the top. Your video will be there, your facilitation sheets. You don't have to think. So if you decide to facilitate a team, it's plug and play. You don't have to sit and think, what video am I going to show? What are the steps? What workshop am I going to run? What content do I bring together? Everything is developed for you. So even when you look at your meeting guide, it says to you, the first thing you do is check in. The second thing you do is you do your icebreaker. The third thing you do is you do this workshop exercise. And once you go through that, it actually shows you, so there's your video, it's got your facilitation sheet, and it's got your work book for you that you can work on. So everything, it's step by step, plug and play. No thinking. It doesn't take, apart from you setting the meeting, if you want to run a circle, apart from you setting the meeting, your facilitation sheets are there. You don't have to think about it. All the content is there. Okay. The only thing that I would recommend in your circle is we don't charge. Internationally, LeanIn doesn't charge for this content, but we do not supply your facilitation sheets and your exercise sheets. So in your groups, I would recommend that if you're going to go through particular topics, that you download or you print the exercise sheets. Because what you want to do is, you want to start off somewhere, and then in a couple of months' time, you want to look back, number one, and say, oh, look at where I've come from, which will show your growth. But second of all, as you're going on your journey, you can go back to where you weren't happy with something, and you can say, actually, I've mastered that. And this is now, if I know to answer this 3 months down the line, I would update it like this. So it does allow you to go back. So you go online, and all the facilitation sheets is there. Okay. All right. And then you, as I said, you decide on your logistics, but I would decide on your logistics after the connection card. So you finalize your logistics and decide. Then what happens is, as you close the meeting, then everyone goes around the circle and you say one action, both personally and professionally, you're going to work on. One thing you commit to start doing or intensifying, and one thing you commit to do differently. So it is your action point, which allows you to get the group around to support you and to really challenge you to achieve that one action item. When you come back the following time, you will then share what you've done with your action item, and one thing the group can do to support you. You go through your session, next action item, and so each session works. So it's all plug and play. And that is LeanIn Circles in a nutshell. So as I said, there isn't anything major about it. I just want to see if there are any questions. Yeah, there isn't anything major about it. It's all plug and play. So I don't know if you've got any questions or any comments. Charmaine, I see your hand.
Yeah, thank you, Colleen, for the session that you've provided. I did miss a chunk of it, so I hope my question hasn't already been addressed, but I would maybe value some sort of like demonstration on how it's supposed to be run. I know you've gone through the content, etc., but if one of us are to establish the circle on our own, or I'm not sure if that conversation has also been had, so I apologize if we've already been allocated, etc., but if we are to run this ourselves, is there any way that you can do an example of what that looks like and how we're supposed to engage with each other? I think that's just what I would want to know.
Yeah, sure. Charmaine, where are you based?
I'm in Cape Town. In
Cape Town. Okay. So I can tell you in September, I'm going to be down in Cape Town on the 30th of September, or we can do it beforehand. We can do it online. But I do have a lady in Cape Town that's going to drive the LeanIn Circle. So what you can do is you can either wait for me to come down, or we can actually get some of the team down in Cape Town to come through to your circle. And the idea is for one of us to be part of your circle when you kick off your circle. So so it's totally up to you if you want to wait for me to come down or if you want to start sooner. Totally up to you. We can do that, but essentially we will make time to ensure that your circle runs well and that it starts off on a good footing.
Okay, so thanks for that. And I think I have a follow-up question then. I remember when we were approached or given this opportunity with WP, and they gave us two options to say you can or join an established circle or create one. And I think you've answered basically hinting that one would need to be created, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I was sort of hoping to join one and then learn from there, similar to like sort of like Bible study groups. You sort of join one first before establishing one. So is that not possible?
Yes, absolutely, Charmaine. And that's why I say it's totally up to you. We are busy setting up the circles in Cape Town as well. So so it's just that Cape Town's a little bit behind what we started in Johannesburg. I mean, we've been going in Joburg for a number of years. But I've got a very strong team now in Cape Town. So we will be setting those up. And you're more than welcome to join in the business engage circles, which is cross-sector. So it's not only property, it is cross-sector, and you're more than welcome to do that. And you can even carry on with that circle for yourself and then start another one. Totally up to you.
I see. Okay.
You know, and some people are running circles in different environments. So they've joined one circle. One of the ladies that I know has actually taken it into her church environment. Another one has done it for her business school. So it just depends on where you want to implement it. It really is transportable.
Wow, okay. No, that's awesome. I think from what I've heard from you, I think I can speak for everyone and say that I'm looking forward to perhaps being introduced when you do come down. So I'm not in an absolute rush right now to join one. I'm happy to have you in person and just see how the team works and how that all looks. So I'm happy to wait till you're down here.
Awesome. Sounds fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. And then also I'm down there for the Gender Mainstreaming Awards semi-final. So hopefully you guys will join us on the morning of the 30th, and then we'll do the LeanIn Circles afterwards.
Oh, nice.
Anybody interested, let me know.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Colleen.
Okay. And any other questions? I saw Vivian's I saw yours, Vivian, for the recording. That's fine.
Sorry, if I can ask a question then. Sorry, just in terms of your dates when you're coming down, and if we can have further correspondence, obviously I assume you go send out the recording to all of us. I know you mentioned you go send to the people who weren't in attendance, obviously I'm assuming for all, and then the follow-up dates for when you're in Cape Town in September.
Awesome. So yeah, so I'm there I'm there on the 30th. We have got the GMA semi-finals from 8:30 till 12 at R&B Portside.
Yes.
And then we'll be doing a LeanIn Circles facilitation straight after that.
Right. Would you send out, or are you open to invitations for, to all of us or not?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Whoever wants to attend, the more the merrier.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this.
Oh, awesome. Are there any other questions? Alison, I see you in Cape Town too.
How many are in Cape Town versus Joburg or otherwise?
Well, in Joburg, we've got 26 circles started already. But I've been business engaged circles. Yeah. I've been doing LeanIn Circles for the last about 13 years now. So we've got 26 that we've just started.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long do these circles actually run for? There was a bit of a question. I know you noted it seems to be quite a long-term process.
Yeah, so some decide to come together just for the 3 or 4 topics that they start off with, and then they decide to move on. We've got 5 or 6 circles that have been together for the last 3 or 4 years. They've just built such an amazing bond that they've decided to stay together.
And do they meet, say, it then kind of go on for once a month, or what do you find works well?
Yeah, so it's a minimum of once a month for 2 hours. The reason why we do that is quite often what happens is that if you do it shorter, especially when you're running things like the connection cards and that type of thing, you're just getting into a space where you are providing a safe space, and then you decide to close off. So we do recommend at least 2 hours once a month. Some circles are only meeting once a month. Other circles are meeting once a month for an educational, another's evening just for one of the get-togethers. Totally up to the group that you're involved with, what you decide to do. And there's no set rule, but it is a minimum of once a month for 2 hours.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Any other questions? No? Okay, well, ladies, what I'll do is I will send the recording, but please, you all have got my contact details. If you're sitting and thinking, you know, you've thought of a question which hasn't been answered, please just drop me a note. I'll gladly answer. Because we've got close of entries, it might take me a little bit of time to get back to you, but I will get back to everybody. And so, you know, you might find that there's some questions that you want to ask, or there might be something that you didn't want to ask in the group or whatever. That's fine. Just drop me a note. And then also, some companies have asked that I come and do it internally within the corporate, and that's also fine. So if you run a corporate, and if you're part of a corporate and you want to start LeanIn Circles in that corporate, we'll gladly make time to help you there as well. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And thanks for making time. It was really stunning spending some time with you all. And I look forward to those that are in Cape Town. If there's anybody on the line from Durban, the same event is taking place on the 29th of September. So if you are in Durban, please drop me a note if you want to attend that as well. Mapule, I see you typing away. Don't you want to rather come off mute and talk?
Why do you have to put me in a spot? I was just gonna write that. I look forward to seeing the Cape Town ladies.
Awesome.
Because I'm based in Cape Town, yeah.
Awesome. No, that'll be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to celebrating with you all and seeing you there. And as I said, in Durban, and those that are in Joburg, the event's on the 18th at Regenesis. So I'm not leaving anybody out. So whoever wants to attend those events, you just drop me a note and we'd love to see you there. Okay.
Okay, fantastic.
Awesome. Well, have a great afternoon and we'll chat soon.
Okay, really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much,
Thank you.
Colleen.
Thanks
Have a
so
wonderful
much,
afternoon.
Bye-bye
Thank
now.
you.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye, everyone.